Hi you guys, so today we're doing these 5 practice problems. You are welcome to write them down first, or you can write them down and do them as we do them. Okay, make sure your notes are out. We are looking at page 30 and 31, the notes that we took yesterday during class time. If you don't have those notes, make sure you go back and you take those notes. Okay, so first problem is problem A. So let's go ahead and let's write that. So problem A is 3n minus 3 is greater than, okay, greater than n plus 2. Okay, so let's start by writing down the steps. What are our steps this time? They are, please don't call me after midnight, really. So remember, our prepare step means that we are changing all the minuses to plus and negative, and we're putting it in any invisible ones. So do that step now. Okay, that is what you should have gotten if you prepared correctly. Next up is distribute. Are we distributing this time? No, we are not distributing because there are no parentheses. Okay, next up is combine like terms. And we've got a special thing to remember when we combine like terms. What do we have to remember? Yeah, it is same side only. So if I look at this side, do I have any like terms? No, I do not. What about if I look at this side? Do I have any like terms? Nope, none. So skip this step. Next step is move variables. Now we only move variables when we have a variable on both sides. Do we have a variable on both sides? Heck yeah, we do. We've got a 3n and a 1n. So we always move the smaller one. So which one am I moving and how do I move it? So the smaller one is 1n, and because it's a positive 1n, I'm going to subtract 1n. That's what cancels it out to make 0. Okay, I know Miss Castor doesn't like to actually cancel hers, so I'm not going to draw the line through it. And I'm going to put it next underneath its like term. So I got 2n plus negative 3 is greater than 2. Because the 1n minus the 1n canceled each other out. Next up is the add or subtract step. Our goal is to get n by itself. So I have to move things away from the n. So that's what's on the side of n. So I have to move then negative 3. And how do I move it, you guys? Do I add it or subtract it? This time I'm going to add it to undo it. So I got 2n equals 5. Ooh, not equals. It's so hard not to do that. Greater than 5. So done with add or subtract. Now we're going to multiply or divide. So again, remember our goal is to get n by itself. So right now I've got to get rid of this 2. And I ask myself, well, what's connecting the n and the 2? It's connected by a times sign, an invisible times sign. So I'm going to divide by 2. So I get n is greater than, and then I have to ask myself, 5 divided by 2, that's a decimal. So I can either write it as the decimal, 2.5, or I could just leave it as the fraction. I like a fraction. And then the new step, really. So what that means is reverse, reverse. So we reverse the sign only if we multiply or divide by a negative number. So you got to look at the very last step you did. Here's that last step. Did I multiply or divide by a negative number? This time I divided by a positive. I divide by positive. So that means I am not reversing the sign. I skip that step. Skip it. So n is greater than 5 halves, or 5 over 2, or 2.5. All of them are cool. Okay? Whatever you would like to write for that. Okay, let's do the second problem. So next problem. Problem B. It says 4 parentheses x minus 3 minus 2 is less than, the way I remember is the less than kind of looks like a L, the sign does. Okay, and then we've got 2 parentheses x minus 3. Okay, go ahead and write down all your steps. So, please don't call me after midnight, really. Okay, first step, plus negative, plus negative, plus negative. So I got 3 of them. I got some invisible 1s here. And I've got my line down the inequality symbol. Are we distributing this time? Okay, go for it. So I've got 4 times 1x, which is 4x. And I've got 4 times negative 3, which is negative 12. Now this negative 2 is inside parentheses, so I'm just going to bring them along for the ride. I still have my less than sign. And then I got to do 2 times 1x, which gives me 2x. And 2 times negative 3, which gives me negative 6. Any combining like terms this time? Yes, we do. On this side, look, negative 12 and negative 2. And on this side, no like terms. So I've got 4x plus negative 14 is less than 2x plus negative 6. I'm going to go on to that move variable step. Okay, I'm going to move the smaller one. So 4x and 2x. Gotta move the 2x. So I'm going to subtract it because that is what undoes 2x. 2x minus 2x is nothing. So 2x plus negative 14. This cancels out. I don't have to draw that line if I don't want to. Is less than negative 6. Okay, next step. Add or subtract. So again, this time I want to get the x by itself. So I need to move the negative 14. You're right, we're going to add it. So I've got 2x is less than 8. Okay. Now I've got to multiply or divide. This time I'm going to multiply or divide to get the x alone because that's a multiplication. I've got to divide. So I got x is less than 4. And then I can't forget my new step, the really. Okay, so we're going to reverse. So we reverse the sign if we multiply or divide by a negative. So do I need to reverse this time? So let's look. Did I multiply or divide by a negative? Nope, I divided by a positive. Positive. Okay, so I do not reverse the sign. And this is my final answer. Okay, let's try the third problem. I bet you're getting good at this now. So third problem, C, 12 minus A plus 3 is greater than, there's a greater than sign, 4A. Actually, let's make this greater than or equal to this time. Let's make it interesting. 4A minus A minus 1. Okay, so let's focus in on this one. Go ahead and write down our steps. Oh, I ran out of space for my last one. Really? Okay, let's prepare. Did you get 1, 2, 3, 4 invisible ones? I did. So we're done with the prepare. Let's go ahead and let's distribute. So I've got a parenthesis there. I've got a parenthesis here. So I'm just bringing the 12 along for the ride. Remember that negative. So I got 12 plus negative 1a plus negative 3 is greater than or equal to 4a plus negative 1 times 1a is negative 1a. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. Okay, combine like terms. So same side only, remember. So this time I've got 12 and negative 3 on this side. And I've got 4a and negative 1a on that side. So here I end up with negative 1a plus 9. And here I've got 3a plus 1. Move variables. So we're going to move the smaller one again. So this time we are adding 1 on both sides. Ooh, I don't know when I changed the color. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been color coding this. It's great to use colors while you're working because it keeps your brain thinking about the step at hand. So 1a and negative 1a cancel each other out. So we've got 9 equals 4. Ooh, not equals. What was I thinking? Greater than or equal to 4a plus 1. Now we've got the add or subtract. Again, remember our goal is to get this a by itself. So I've got to move this. And you're right, I'm going to subtract it on both sides. So I got 8 is greater than or equal to 4a. Next up is multiply or divide. I'm going to divide this time like I normally do. So I end up with 2 is greater than or equal to a. Okay. Next step is reverse, reverse. Reverse, reverse. We reverse the sign if we multiply or divide by a negative. So we look, did we multiply or divide by a negative? Nope, it was a positive. Okay, so I'm not reversing the sign. Positive. Okay, so I get to skip that step totally. But look, I have to have my variable on the left. Or I'm sorry, I have to have my variable on the left. And right now it's on my right. So I'm going to turn this problem around. Okay, so I'm going to turn the whole problem around. So the a is going to go on the left. The 2 is going to go on the right. I have to be really careful with my sign. Right now, do you see how this sign is eating? So the sign is eating the 2. I have to keep it eating the 2. Okay, now these say the same thing. If this says 2 is greater than or equal to a, and this says a is less than or equal to 2. Both mean the same thing. I just read it 2 different ways. Okay? You must have this answer. Because we always put the variable on the left side. Okay, we always put the variable on the left side. Okay, problem number 4, home stretch. Okay, problem number 4. We've got 4z plus 3, parentheses z plus 2. Let's make this another equal to also. Is greater than or equal to z plus 6 plus 6, parentheses z plus 1. Okay, and I put this line through my z's. I don't know if anybody else does it, but I like it because then I don't confuse 2 with a z. Okay, it's so that I don't confuse a 2 and a z. So steps. Please don't call me after midnight, really? Okay, I'm going to prepare. I got an invisible 1, an invisible 1, an invisible 1, but this time no minuses. Okay, next up, distribute. I got some parentheses. So 4z plus 3z plus 6. And I got that by doing 3 times 1z and 3 times 2. And then I got greater than or equal to 1z. Okay, and again, 6 times 1z is a 6z. And 6 times 1 gives me 6. Next up, we're getting good at these steps. Combine like terms, same side only. It all comes back, doesn't it? So 4z and 3z on this side. 1z and 6z on that side. So I end up with 7z plus 6 is greater than or equal to 5z plus 6. Next up, move variables. Okay, so I look for the smaller one. So 7z and 5z, I've got a winner. So minus 5z, minus 5z. And remember, I subtracted it because I want this to cancel out and be 0. And it does. 5z minus 5z gives us 0. So we got 2z plus 6 is greater than or equal to 6. Okay, so I'm done with the move variables. Next up, add or subtract. Remember, the goal is to get z alone, so I've got to move this 6. And because it's plus, I'm minusing it. So I got 2z equals 0. What? Not equals, sorry. Greater than or equal to 0. That's allowed. That's okay. That things happen, but we can't just cross it out and not write anything. We have to write the 0 there because there's got to be something on both sides of your inequality symbol. Next up is multiply or divide. So I'm going to divide by 2 to get the z alone. Okay. Don't let this stump you. The 2's cancel out so we get z. And anything divided by 0 is 0. Okay, and last but not least, reverse. So we reverse the sign if we multiply or divide it by a negative. So when I'm looking at this, negative, nope, this was positive. Okay, and the z was on the left, so we are done with that problem. Z is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, I think we're on the last problem. You made it. E. Ooh. Let's write it. E. 2w plus 4 is greater than 7 parentheses w plus 1. Okay, let's prepare it. So let's see, no minuses. Got a 1. Oh, I forgot to write down my steps. What am I thinking, McDonald? I'll write them as I go. Okay, there's the prepare. Next up is distribute. So nothing to distribute on this side. On this side, we've got to distribute the 7. So we got 7w plus 7. Okay. Next up is combine like terms. Any like terms over here? Nope. Any like terms over here? Nope. So I'm going to skip that step. Then I've got move my variables. Remember, I'm moving the smaller one. So I'm subtracting 2w to cancel out that 2w. So I end up with 4 is greater than 5w plus 7. Next step, please don't call me after add or subtract. Okay, so I've got to get the w alone. So I am going to move this plus 7 by subtracting 7. So I end up with negative 3 is greater than 5w. Remember that canceled out. And then please don't call me after midnight. I need to multiply or divide. So I'm going to try to get the w alone once again. Because it's multiplication, I am dividing by 5. Okay, another decimal. You know how I feel about decimals. So I'm just going to leave it as a fraction. Negative 3 over 5 is greater than w. Okay, and then last but not least, I can't forget it. Reverse. So I reverse the sign if I multiplied or divided by a negative number. What do you think this time? Positive. So I don't have to reverse the sign. I don't have to reverse the sign, so I'm done with that step. I actually get to skip that step. But look at this at the bottom here. I've got my W on the right side, and it needs to go on the left side. So I am going to reverse this whole problem. So I end up with W on this side, negative 3/5 on the 3/5. Ooh, if I could talk, on this side. And I want the mouth to still be eating the same thing. So if I'm looking at this sign right now, mouth is eating, it's open to eating negative 3/5. So I got to keep them eating negative 3/5. And done. Bam. We rock. That was all 5 problems right there. Make sure you take pictures of all 5 problems, A, B, C, D, and E, in your notebook, in your practice notebook, and make sure you upload them into the assignment. Do that right now before you lose your practice notebook or lose your work. Do it right this second. Okay, you guys. I hope you enjoyed.